It's Roman, it's Martin Watchhouse, and welcome back on my channel. Thanks for watching my BigQuery tutorial of Google Ads. I hope you enjoyed by now, and remember, if you have any questions or something is too difficult, you struggle with, don't hesitate to ask a question in the comments. First, it's much easier to have some help when you actually need this instead of spending an entire week on finding a solution. And secondly, it helps me to develop my channel a lot and bring better content on YouTube, as well as pushes my videos better and higher in YouTube ranking. Okay, let's come back to our Google Ads tutorial. I haven't filmed videos for quite some time. It's actually for 24 hours, and I need to remember when we stopped. As far as I remember, we gone through select and from. We also went through where and having and the difference between them. And right now we are very close to nail another function. This another function is called join. And join is probably the most complicated stuff and at the same time the most easy stuff to understand. So join looks like VLOOKUP. Let me give you an example. First, let's go to Sheets and let's create two tables. For example, we're going to have campaign name and then it's going to be conversions. Let's make it, I don't know, BMW and Mercedes. First is going to have 10 conversions and the second one is going to have 20 conversions. And in some another imaginary table, we're going to have, again, campaign name, BMW, Mercedes, and for example, costs. And costs will be 47 and 54. So exactly like we have in Google Ads BigQuery, data is stored in different buckets. And to connect this data together in Google Sheets, you need to take one table and to use VLOOKUP for bringing this data from another table. Let's have a look. VLOOKUP. So when we VLOOKUP something, where's the help? First, we need to identify search key. This key that should be equal in this table and in another key, table, or it's also called foreign key. So search key is actually called a foreign key or just a key. It's the value that is exactly the same in both of the tables. So we're going to look for BMW in another table and we're going to find the value on the second index and say that we need exact match. And I'm also going to fix the range. Here it is. And now we join these tables. If we try to make the select statement, we will say that select campaign name, let's say, let's call this conversions table, imaginary table, of course, and this would be cost table. I would say select please conversions table dot and then something from conversion table, in this case campaign name, and also take conversions table dot conversions. So first defines where to find the value and second defines what value we're looking for. In this case, conversion table have column conversions, and then take cost table dot costs. I don't need costs table campaign name because it's going to be exactly the same as in conversion table, so I just take any of this, and for this example I take conversions table campaign name, but you can also take costs table. Then you say, as we usually say, from conversion table, and I will do another line. You need to define a join. Join goes straight after the from statement, and in this case we use left join, and left join means we take everything on the left, so we take all the values in this table and try to find the matching table, the matching values from the right table. There are different types of joins. There is a left join, and as opposite to it, there is a right join, whereas when you usually take everything from the right and try to find the matching table from the left. There is outer join, inner join, but for now, for Google Ads, in 99% of the cases, you just need to know left join. And let's just do that. So we say left join, and then cost table, and then we say on and define which of the columns are exactly the same in both of the tables. And in this case, it's conversion table dot campaign name equals cost table dot campaign name. And this is actually the whole magic. It sounds a little bit complicated, it looks complicated. When we try to understand that and you try to write it, it's very, very simple. You have in one table a campaign name and in another table campaign name. You just join them together row by row where these values are the same. If you have several keys, for example, campaign name, and you can also use conversion table dot account name equals cost table dot account name. These values don't necessarily should have the same name. This is why you define what should equal to what. For example, in some startups, you have different tables with different ways of writing the names. Yeah, that's a bad practice, but some people still doing this. What's important here, you just define which values should match, and don't forget to use and or between them, depending on which one is more useful. When you work with Google Ads table, there is a much easier way to connect tables together. Instead of writing this stuff, which I'm going to delete, you can say left join cost table using, and when you say using, you define that column names in both of the tables have exactly the same name. And then you say campaign name. That's all. That's actually the whole magic behind the left join. Here's definitely going to be a join. Let me show how this works. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say select everything from, let's do Google Ads and then campaign. And then let's make it beautiful. Do left join Google Ads, and then let's do, for example, ad group. This table contains every information about ad group. And if you go to ad group table, you will see that there is ad group ID and campaign ID. There is also external customer ID, which is an account ID. It's important to understand that campaign ID is unique with an account, but you can have exactly the same campaign IDs in two different accounts. The same works with the keywords, they are unique per campaign, and ad groups, they are also unique per campaign. So when you join these two tables, you need to join by two IDs. First is account ID and the second is campaign ID. When you do that, you say using external customer ID, campaign ID, and that's all. Of course, when you join these tables together, both of these tables have a lot of common parameters like latest date or date to date. A lot of them have exactly the same name. Usually you don't need the whole table together. So for these purposes, I'm going to say I need campaign name that is coming from this table, and I need ad group name that is coming from this table. Because there is no campaign name in ad group table and there is no ad group name in a campaign table, I can simply don't tell which table is the source in both of the cases. In all other cases, for example, if I want to use, let's see, something that is common for these tables, for example, tracking URL template. If I say that I wanted to see tracking URL templates, I have to define, do I want to see the campaign level or ad group level, or do I want to see both? For this case, I say that this table is going to be named CMP or as CMP, and this is going to be ADG. So now I have a shared names for both of the tables, and I can say that tracking URL template is going to come from the CMP table, and now it all makes sense. And then I call it campaign tracking template. Then I do comma, copy this, because the field has exactly the same name. I just change ADG and I change here to add group. Now, despite the fact that I've never joined on this column, and I shouldn't, because campaign level tracking template and add group level tracking template are completely different things, I still can bring both of these values into my resulting table. Let's run the table and see what's going to happen there. By the way, one more thing that I completely forgot to do is to do where CMP latest date equals CMP underscore data date, because when I analyze all the campaigns, all campaign statuses and all campaign names, I only need the data from yesterday. I don't care about all other data from the campaigns. And the same I do for add groups. I also copy this, put it here, and say add group dot add group. Both of these tables have this information, and the data that is going to be processed is also reduced twice. I don't know by twice, but again, never forget about putting the partition column into filter. So let's also filter the campaign tracking templates that are not null, because I don't care about the campaign tracking template when it's null. Is not null, and or even better, or add group tracking template is not null. So I want to see the campaigns that have at least one or another filter. By the way, I can't use these fields because it's where, and where doesn't have this name of the fields. It has this name of the field, so something that goes before as. And I want to see the campaign name. So let's say campaign name, and then add group name. And there is also a very beautiful button here. It's when you push it, it automatically formats your codes to a beautiful way of looking. So I run my query, and I have a campaign name, I have add group name, I have the tracking template for, let's see, campaign level, and I have no add group template for add group level. And that's how the join works. If you want to join more data, for example, you want to see account level data, let's bring it up here. Let's make code a little bit more compact. So this is left join. I don't like when it all has a lot of different lines. I just copy this line, add it here. I delete this part, and account information is in account in the customer, in a customer table. It's going to be called ACC for account. And when I join this information, there is no campaign ID definitely in this table. I only need to join by external customer ID. And let's bring account name into our table. To do this, so we need to check what's the name for account name. It's going to be account descriptive name. How do I understand that? Just read all the fields and you understand that there is no other field that contains the word name in it. Oh, sorry, it's customer descriptive name. Let's bring both of them. I'm more than sure that account descriptive name is something that we're looking for. I don't see the difference between these two columns, so I have no understanding what they mean. But again, we've joined this table. We have add group tracking template, we have campaign level tracking template, add group name, campaign name, and account name. So It's very simple to join the data. If you wanted to join the, again, one more thing that I completely forgot to do is to say that account latest date equals to campaign data date. Yep. And now it all works. So guys, important thing here to use, don't forget that when you join any campaign, ad group, customer or query table, you need to join them on all the dimensions. If, for example, in ad group I have a dimension of campaign ID and I don't join on it, the query still will work, but the data will be incorrect. How to be sure that you always join on the correct dimensions. This is something that comes with experience. If you are using Google Ads for quite some time, you know that keyword exists on ad group. So if you wanted to analyze keyword data, you always need to take into account ad group ID, campaign ID, and account ID. If you analyze campaign ID, you only need to take care about account ID. So if you see the tree, one that goes from account ID, then to campaign ID, then to ad group ID, and then you usually use the criteria, which can be URL or keyword or interest or retargeting, or you use ads, which can be responsive ads or extended ad or banner. Both of these are in different tables. For example, you can see here criteria table. You need to join on all the dimensions. I encourage you to go right now and try to replicate this code to join not only ad group, customer and campaign, but also to join the criteria level data. One thing for you to remember, that when you go through all the tables, I would encourage you to take the most detailed table as the first one. For example, in this case, I would take ad group level. I would take all the data from ad group, then left join campaign, and then left join customer. If you go for criteria table, try to do from criteria, left join ad group, left join campaign, and left join customer. In this case, it would be much easier to manage the data, and you can be sure that you always join the bigger table that is on the left. In case, for example, the keywords, it's usually bigger than ad groups. Then you join smaller table on the right. So go from the most detailed view to less detailed view. And don't forget to subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them comments below. You always can reach me on LinkedIn and ask some private questions if you have so. And you can go to my Medium and subscribe on me there. I hope this video helps you, and don't forget to push like. See you and bye bye.